this video, you will plunge into the deepest and most forgotten darkness of the United States, where urban legends are not just stories, they are warnings. Four tales lurk in the shadows, waiting to trap you with their horror. The black-eyed children, the unsettling Nightcrawler, the sinister Headless Horseman of Sleepy Hollow, and the monstrous Wendigo. They don't just want to scare you, they want to possess you. Before we go on, put on your headphones. Because when you hear each whisper, each step that seems to come from nowhere, each heartbeat pounding in your chest, you will feel something invisible drawing closer. Something that doesn't breathe but is there, watching you, waiting. There's no escape. Turning off the light won't help. And by the time this video ends, you might not want to be alone, or even wake up. Stay until the end if you dare, because I'll let you decide from which country I'll bring 4 even more horrifying legends next week. But remember, fear never forgets, and it never forgives. Are you ready for the darkness to consume you? Then let's step into it. 1. The black-eyed children, the mystery you must not look at. Imagine a dark, silent night, where the wind seems to have stopped and time itself becomes heavy. Suddenly you hear a soft knock, faint, almost imperceptible at your door. When you open it, there are no adults or familiar shadows, just 2 children, small, maybe between 6 and 16 years old. Their skin is pale, so white it seems translucent, cold to the touch, as if life had left them long ago. But what truly freezes you, what makes your heart tighten and your blood run cold, are their eyes. Eyes as black as the deepest void, without reflection, without iris, without pupils. Eyes that don't just look, they seem to absorb the light, and worse, your soul. They don't speak much, but their voices are strange, flat, mechanical, without the warmth of a human being. They ask for something simple, a place to come in, a phone, a bathroom. At first, you might want to refuse, but there's something hypnotic in their silence, in that supernatural calm surrounding them, something that keeps you from shutting the door. It's as if their cold, deadly presence traps you without you noticing, as if an invisible force compels you to let them in. And at that exact moment, when they cross the threshold, the air changes. The temperature drops, the usual sounds vanish, and the shadows in your home seem to stretch, twist, and come alive. What seemed like a simple encounter turns into a living nightmare. Those unfortunate enough to let these children in tell terrifying tales. Unexplained illnesses eating away at body and mind, paranormal events destroying household peace, objects moving on their own, voices whispering from nowhere, and a dark presence that never leaves. As if, by looking into those black eyes, you'd handed them the key to open a door to hell. The first modern reports of this chilling legend came from Texas in the 90s, when a journalist named Brian Bethel recounted an encounter that chilled his blood. In a dark parking lot, he saw 2 children matching the descriptions, asking for help. Since then, these sightings have multiplied, spreading like a creeping shadow from state to state, stalking anyone who dares to look. But what are they really? Some claim they're not human at all, but lost souls, trapped between the world of the living and the dead, doomed to seek company endlessly. Others call them disguised demons, entities that feed on fear and despair. And there are those who whisper they might be visitors from another planet, dark beings that toy with the human mind, draining its essence for something far worse. But there's one warning everyone agrees on: never, ever, under any circumstances, look directly into their eyes. Because they say if your gaze meets those bottomless pits, something inside you dies forever. A darkness takes root deep in your being, a curse that chooses you and from which there's no escape. Then they never forget you, and you wouldn't want that to happen. Can you imagine that feeling? Being alone in your room, hearing a tap at the window, and peeking out to see those empty pupils staring at you, motionless, cold, like 2 black holes devouring your soul. Fear paralyzes you, your breathing stops, and you realize that in that moment, the darkness isn't outside, it's inside you. If you ever hear a whisper, a faint brush, or feel someone watching you when no one is there, remember, it could be them. The black-eyed children aren't just in the shadows. They're in your mind, waiting for the right moment to knock again. Would you dare open that door? Because if you do, you may never be the same again. 2. The Nightcrawler, the monster that walks among us. Fresno, California. A quiet night with nothing but the faint hum of streetlights. But in the 90s, a security camera recording captured something that has fueled nightmares ever since. A tall, thin, unnatural figure. Thus, the legend of the Nightcrawler was born. At first glance, its shape doesn't belong to this world. No arms, no face, just a tiny torso and unnaturally long, bony, white legs, as if they were the only structure holding it up. But what's most disturbing isn't its appearance, it's how it moves. It doesn't walk like a human. It doesn't run. It doesn't stumble. It glides with a slow, fluid, hypnotic step, as if floating inches above the ground, defying the laws of physics. In the footage, its silhouette seems more like a solid shadow than a physical body. There's no sound of footsteps, no breathing, and yet, every witness who has seen it says they feel something in the air, an invisible pressure as if the oxygen has turned heavy. The cold seeps into the bones and the sounds of the night vanish, as if nature itself is holding its breath in its presence. Theories are unsettling. Some researchers link it to native legends of Earth guardians, ancient spirits sent to punish those who harm nature. These guardians, according to stories, don't speak, don't show mercy. They simply appear, watch you, and vanish. Others believe the Nightcrawler is a being from another dimension, a traveler passing through our world only for moments, leaving a feeling of emptiness and desolation where it manifests. Then there are those who swear it's an alien scout, watching us before something much darker happens. But beyond explanations, everyone agrees on one thing: the Nightcrawler is never a good omen. It's never physically attacked anyone, but those who have seen it claim their lives changed after the encounter. Constant nightmares, shadows moving in their homes, the feeling of being watched, as if the Nightcrawler had marked their spirit. Imagine walking alone on a secluded forest path, with the moon hidden behind clouds. Suddenly you feel you're not alone. The wind stops and the silence becomes so deep you hear your own heartbeat. You take a step, and in the distance, faintly lit, you see something moving. Two long white legs slowly advancing toward you. Its silhouette stands out in the gloom. No arms, no face, just that hypnotic walk pulling you toward it. You want to run, but your body won't respond. It's as if your will is trapped in that strange, almost ritual motion. You blink, and it's gone. The path is empty, but the feeling remains. It's still there, unseen, following you with every step. And if you ever feel something huge and silent walking behind you, don't look back. Because if you see those endless legs coming closer, there may be nowhere left to run. 3. The Headless Horseman of Sleepy Hollow, the curse that never dies. In the small, misty town of Sleepy Hollow, New York, the fog doesn't just cover the streets. It hides a legend so dark it has endured for centuries. Among the shadows of its forests, beneath twisted branches that resemble bony hands, they say a cursed spirit rides each night, searching for what was taken from him, his own head. The story goes back to the Revolutionary War. A German mercenary soldier, known for his ferocity and bloodlust, met his end in a brutal battle. A cannonball tore off his head in a single blow, and his faceless body was hastily buried far from his kin. But his spirit never rested. Injustice and hatred bound him to this world, condemned to roam forever, mounted on a black steed as wild as the darkness itself. They say that when he appears, his figure inspires indescribable terror. Black armor that reflects the moonlight like cursed steel, a cloak waving in the wind as if alive, and instead of a head, a carved pumpkin with a sinister, empty grin, lit from within by a burning orange, malevolent fire, a beacon from hell itself. His horse charges with a thundering gallop that seems to shake the ground. Each strike of its hooves resonates in the chest of those who hear it, and with every step, the air grows colder and colder, until your breath turns to smoke and your muscles freeze. Those who have crossed paths with him say escape is impossible. The Horseman will chase you relentlessly across forests, roads, and rivers, until the flame of his pumpkin reflects in your eyes and his sharp sword finds you. And when it does, your head becomes part of his cursed collection, or worse, the replacement he wears until he finds his own. Some claim it's just a story to scare the curious, but in Sleepy Hollow, elders warn that on moonless nights, when the silence becomes unbearable, you can still hear the distant gallop of a horse drawing closer. And if you ever see an orange glow floating in the fog, run, though it's probably already too late, because the Headless Horseman never rests. He never forgets, and if he finds you, he will take much more than your life. For the Wendigo, the hunger that devours the soul. Deep in the frozen forests of the north, where snow covers the land like a shroud and the wind cuts skin like invisible blades, the name of a creature not of this world is whispered, the Wendigo. The Algonquin tribes say it wasn't always a monster. Once, it was human, until extreme hunger and desperation drove it past a forbidden line, eating human flesh. That abominable act not only feeds the body, but opens a dark door, a crack through which an evil spirit enters, consuming what's left of humanity. Thus, the Wendigo is born, an eternal aberration, enslaved to an impossible hunger. Those who claim to have seen it describe a skeletal body, as if its skin were stretched over sharp bones. Its ribs jut out like the bars of a prison, its neck is long and twisted, and its face is a grotesque mix of human and animal, disfigured jaws, jagged, sharp teeth, and sunken eyes burning with an icy fire, a gaze not reflecting life but its absence. Its claws are long, black, and capable of tearing flesh and spirit in a single swipe. But its terror lies not only in strength or appearance, but in cunning. The Wendigo doesn't always attack immediately. Sometimes it hides, waiting. It blends into the forest, moving without a sound, and when the victim least expects it, it whispers. And it's no ordinary whisper. It mimics familiar voices, the cry of a child, the call for help from a friend, the plea of a loved one. It lures you into the dark not with claws, but with hope, only to devour you alive. They say with every soul consumed, its body distorts and grows. It is never satisfied. Each bite makes it bigger, faster, smarter. Some believe its hunger is a curse from the gods to punish human greed and selfishness. Others think it is the embodiment of winter and death itself, walking among us to remind that in the solitude of cold, survival comes at a price. Locals in the most remote regions still tell of nights when something moves among the trees, too fast to see, too large to be human. Sometimes heavy footsteps crunch on snow. Then, absolute silence, the kind that cuts the soul because you know something is watching you. If you ever walk through a snowy forest and hear your name whispered from the shadows, don't answer. No matter if it's the voice of your mother, your partner, or your child, it's not them. Because the moment you respond, the Wendigo will know where you are. And once marked by its hunger, there's no forest big enough nor night dark enough to hide you. Its appetite isn't for your flesh, it's for your essence. And when it takes it, you'll be left empty, condemned to wander forever, perhaps as another Wendigo, hunting the unwary who dare to listen. Now you know, there are creatures and legends that don't just live in books or in the stories we tell to scare. Some walk among us, watching silently, waiting for the perfect moment to be seen. Maybe, as you watch this video, something is moving in the shadows of your room, something that wasn't there when you entered. Perhaps you already feel that fixed gaze on your back, or that strange chill running through you for no reason. And if tonight you hear a knock on the window, a whisper of your name, or slow footsteps approaching, remember these stories, because it might be the last warning you ever get. If you want to keep exploring the world's darkest corners and discover legends that may be closer to you than you imagine, subscribe now, turn on the bell, and join me next week. But do it quickly, because by then it might already be too late.